Well, that was fun. So apparently the power adapter was not plugged in well enough to charge the laptop. So the laptop died. And then I had to wait for the file system check to finish before the laptop could finally boot back up again to get back on the stream. So let me know if you hear anything. Do you hear me speaking? Because YouTube's telling me I have no audio bitrate. Let me just make sure people can hear me. Those of you who were kind enough to come back. Can anyone hear the audio? Not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I don't know what YouTube's talking about. I think everything's fine here. Okay. Thank you very much for letting me know that you can hear me. Cool. So where are we? So I poked around a little bit with this while we were waiting for the stream to get back up again. Thanks, Irky. So I started changing this to use a procedure that I can pass the package ID into. Then I have to start formatting a lot of the attribute strings, which gets a little ugly. It's not very elegant to have to do this, but at least I can do it in scheme code where it's, you know, testable. Not really testable. It's easy to verify whether it's right or not. Expression not valid outside of quasi-quote in form. Yeah, sure, that makes sense. Wrong number of format arguments expected 0 got 1. False. Yes, I forgot that too. Okay, so there we go. Now I've reloaded this page and I can, well, I should be able to hover over each one, but I must be having an issue somewhere. Oh, okay, it didn't finally load. There we go. Now you can see that I'm hovering over individual. Let me zoom in. Wrong place. Excuse me. I can hover over individual. Having a hard time here. Individual icons. That one's not working very well. I can hover over individual icons and they will all light up because they all have different IDs. So that's sort of where we're at with the DataStar aspect here. So, and the mouse out is also not very reliable, it seems. Sometimes it doesn't catch it quite correctly, and then the dot still gets left there. I don't know if there's a good way to deal with that. Maybe there's like a timer I can set or something. I'm not sure. But at least you can see it working on an individual level. Now the question is, if I click this, do we now get to see that the check mark is set? That's the next thing that we need to do. So we might even need a third state. Let's see. We don't really need to. Yeah, we need a third state, I think, which is not ideal, but it's okay. Yes. So well, let's do this a better way. I'm gonna select this whole expression. I'm just gonna paste it right back in. So circle check, I believe it is. Did we use that before? Circle check. Yep. All right. So icon hidden. This is gonna be hidden by default. Class hidden. So signal might need to change. Let me change this signal variable to hover dot. No. Okay. So we've got a third state, which needs to be the checked state. Hello to Vidianos. All right, so circle check. On mouse out. So this would be on click. But it actually would be, yeah, that's fine. This is going to be a toggle. There we go, checked. Now what we're going to do is pull the same kind of deal here and say this is the checked signal name. All right, so hover dot checked. Maybe even hover dot is something that can be simplified to like hover, but whatever. All right, so hover dot and then checked, or hovered and checked, we could even say. But I just changed that now. Hover dot, hovered. There we go. Hovered and checked. Those are sort of states of the control. Yeah. I mean, this is basically a control that has states in a way. And what is a better way to even represent that too? Because since we're not sending new DOM elements back for this, this is all sort of a client-side behavior. Actually, now that I think about it, that's a much better way to do this. So instead of having a third state, what you're supposed to do with DataStar is whenever you click something that takes an action on the server side, ideally, if you're going to update the UI, you would send back a new element from the backend. I wouldn't use the same package pick for that row. What I would do instead was probably assign an ID. So ID, I'll format this package pick. Actually, this is going to have to be pick dot and then ID. That's still part of that. Yeah, let's just put that all in one line to make it less confusing. So now we have I'm sort of trying to think about the way I want to accomplish this. There's a few different things at play here. So first of all, how do we know that a package is picked? Represent it as a signal. Probably need to represent it as a signal so that the DataStar can take care of the state without having to query the DB the whole time. So needs to be populated from DB. And that's something that we can actually get from a join on the table, I believe. Okay, so I think that's fine. I'll fill in more items as they occur to me. So then there's two states to this control. One is whenever the package has not been picked yet, and then the other is when the package has been picked. So we need to replace the div by ID for the picker to show either picked or unpicked UI. So this could be package unpicked. Or unchecked. So yeah, let's take this right here out. Because then the click, like data, excuse me, on click is going to do something completely different. This is going to actually send a request. I mean, for now, what we could say is that it could just set a signal, but I think really what it's going to do is send a request. So maybe we should just go ahead and model that. So that's going to be a post. And do I already have a route assigned for this? So we have packages tips. Yeah. Have I watched a Minecraft movie? No. I have not watched it. I don't get to the theater very often. I've heard it's good though. Sorry, so packages slash pick. So I think that's what we'll do here. We need to format this string though. Format post. And let me see, where else do I do posty stuff? There we go. That's basically what I'm looking for right there. Excuse me. All right, so post, and this is going to be pick. So that will send a request to the pick endpoint, which doesn't exist yet. We're going to have to implement that. But it would give us the ability to respond back whenever we have set something in the database, or at least toggled the state, let's say. Because I think we should get all the signal values as a result of doing this as well. Okay, so hovered and checked. Checked is no longer needed. We've taken that out. So now we're back to a simpler state. So yeah, the idea is not to make things complicated. Complicated would have been having 3 states on this control. Uncomplicated is having a different state where you have a different version of the same element for the unchecking aspect. So trying to think of like the right naming for this. What are we showing here? Package picker and the package unpicker, which both of which seem ridiculous, but whatever. And the nice thing is that whenever we have a read on how we want to do this, we can just use apply. And then say like, if true, or if false, package picker, otherwise package unpicker, or vice versa. And then apply it to the procedure that is necessary. So to do update for picked state. So package picker, package unpicker. Terrible, but it'll do the job for now. We don't need really a hover action for this, so we can get rid of the whole hovered concept. Pick a. Do we need that? Maybe we can say unpick. For signals, we don't really need signals. And circle check. It's not hidden. We can get rid of this whole thing. Mouse over is not needed unless we want to do a little bit of extra fancy color changing, inversions or something. We're not going to hide it either. But we will do an on click. Nope. I'm going to close that off. All right, so that's good. We'll get rid of this last line. Now, is this right? Is this right? I mean, we could say unpick also, but I'd rather not have a second handler. So I'm trying to think of the right way to model this, because when we click here and it does a post request, it's going to send all the signals currently in this page to the backend as part of the body, as a big JSON blob. So whatever signals we have, we're going to see. There could be a picked signal. Thanks, Chokerman. Appreciate it. So, picked. There could be an unpicked. There could be a picked. And we could establish that by doing a signal to start with, like sort of like this. Data signals. And similarly, so we could basically just force it to be false to begin with. And then by sending this back, with the unpicker and making it true, then I think what we're doing is effectively saying that when you call the pick endpoint, it's going to look at the picked value for ID and then toggle it on the back end and then return whatever is relevant for that. So where are the actions? Action. It's not here. Why not? Let's see. In routes, we have package tip action handler. That's in tips. Okay. So if we go to tips, tip action handler, let me just grab that, steal that a little bit. And this is in the views thing, right? Okay. I don't know why tips is a separate thing. I guess because it's sort of like a different part of the UI or something. Who knows? Let's go back to package. I'm just going to drop this in Redbound here. Godson says, why do you think folks choose Neovim over Emacs? Emacs appears incredibly more powerful, but maybe I'm missing some clear reason. Well, you'd probably have to ask a Neovim user because I'm not one of those. But I would say it's probably they think that Emacs is like crufty or too much bloat or something. But the reality is that Neovim is a text editor that is extensible. Emacs is kind of like a fully featured productivity environment that happens to also have a text editor built in. So this is a completely different mentality. So people just have to sort of wrap their head around that by trying it and using it for a while, and then, you know, making a conscious choice about whether Neovim or Emacs are better for their purpose. All right, so pick action handler. We're deconstructing the signals. I probably need to come up with a way to define an action handler that wraps some of this behavior, like, you know, pulling in the signals, like a get action versus a post action. That would be pretty easy to get the signals out of either the query string or the body, and then do something with it. So package pick action handler. Sure, the okay, let me think about this for a second. For ID, you're welcome. Yes, that's basically it. People just don't know. People aren't aware of what Emacs can do and what value it provides, and it's kind of difficult to understand that until you've used it for a little while. So for pick, we have ID in the path, which means you have to break apart the path to find the ID unless we're passing it in. I don't really like the way I'm doing this. Having a handler that's parameterized would be nice. I mean, I'm already doing it in packages detail view, so what's the difference anyway, I guess. So let's just do that for ID. We kind of need to do it that way so that we don't have to waste time. Well, what am I doing in the tip handler? Oh, there's a package ID coming from the signal already. Yeah, we don't exactly have that because we don't know which one has been clicked. Is there a way to parameterize an action? Action plugins. Host. Yeah, not really. Okay. So, package pick action handler. This is going to be a procedure that returns a procedure. Lambda CTX body. That's all good. I'm going to go to the end, finish that off, go back up here, clean that up. Now we have the ID. And this would allow us to go to the database if we needed to. I'm not really going to worry about that just yet. But I do want to see the signals because I want to read the value out. So this will just be a little example for us to look at the value and toggle it directly and then return back whatever the opposite is without looking at the database at all. Because that should do the trick. Okay, so we got signals, which is effectively an A list, I think. How was I using that before? In tips. Signals, a soak ref. Okay. And I guess the problem is I have to get nested items out now. So Guile JSON. How do I effectively access nested? Child? Oh. Scheme to JSON. What does it do with nested items? I guess I could figure that out if I just do this. Or is it nested? Do they give a flat object with a dot syntax? Let's see. Excuse me. Nested? Okay, maybe I need to look in namespaced. Okay. So they call it namespaced. Yeah, I need to see how it looks before I can make assumptions about things. So probably what I need to do first is just print out what signals I'm receiving. And to go back, I should return something. Merge fragments, port, render package tip. I can just return package package unpicked. Unpicker. Okay. Unpicker ID. Append selector package tips. Has it got an ID on it? I am making an ID. Yeah. Div ID. Div ID. Pick and unpick. Ooh. So it's going to have to be the same. That's okay. Picker. Picker. But if I do that, though, it will replace that correctly. So I don't need a selector. I also don't need to prepend. All I need to do is just to return or give it the new element. And I don't need to do anything with signals either. I shouldn't need to. So that's pretty much it. But format. Hello to infused lime. Well, let's do this. Signals. Just so we can get a look at what's in there. Unbalanced parens. I'm working on a website backend in Scheme. Lambda. Let. What did this say? Oh, I need to pull in the JSON library. Unmatched bracket or quote. Let's see, what did I do wrong here? Yep, that's closed too soon. Got that. And that can be closed. We'll save it. Control C, Control B. Unbound variable UTF-8 string and merge fragments. We're going to need two things. We're going to need the DataStar library, and we're going to need RNRS byte vectors. All right, it's happy now. I also need to go to routes and eval handle request so that now the packages pick logic can be picked up. So now if I go back and reload the packages page, there is an error somewhere. Apply to non-list 1. Packages index view. package index view. I wonder if it's this apply I'm using in here. Package picker, package unpicker. Oh. Let's just double check that things are in sync here. So map one package, it must be in this logic somewhere. So apply, let me make sure that I'm doing the right thing. Apply function, oh, I need to make a list of the args. That's right. That's what happened. Okay. So now, if I click on this, whoa. That was weird. Page kind of got totally hosed there for a second. And I'm not sure why. What did I change in here that would make it get so bogged down? Is transferring data from unpackaged.com. Let's check out the network requests. Is there anything that seems to be pending? 302 redirect. 404 on that. Are you okay? Are you finished now? I click and nothing happens. Nothing I did should have caused that. All right, let's just for the sake of sanity. Yeah, this unpackaged site is throttling me or something. Unless my internet's going down. Waiting. Something really weird is going on. It's not like a browser hang. Okay, now it's finally loaded all the way. Or so it says. There must be something happening. Wait, which one is the page? YouTube? Where is YouTube? No YouTube open. Screenshots. Oh, it's the other window? What are you doing? That's funny. It's just taking screenshots of me on the stream. Localhost, there we are. Who knows? Excuse me. Like I said, I'm still getting over a cold here. I don't know what's going on. I'm real confused. I don't know why all of a sudden the page got super laggy. Let me see. What did I change? Only this apply, but the apply shouldn't have caused any problems. I mean, how would that matter? Don't ask me why. Okay, that's interesting. Even then, though, something weird is happening. All right, so it woke up somewhat. And let's do that. As soon as I put those controls back in, it just gets all wonky. Slowing down Firefox. How? How is it possible? Covered. Picker. Data signals picked. That's the only thing that I've added, I think, this part. The hovering doesn't seem to be working right anymore. Hovered 3. Hover 3 equals true. I break something else. Data class hidden. Louis says, it seemed like a recurring rendering issue. Is it possible that JavaScript is being triggered for every element rendered? Definitely some events are being wired up. It's interesting that hovering is no longer working. Because it was working just fine before. I don't know if the browser got overloaded somehow. Package picker, package ID, package picker. Saying that this is picker A. String to symbol format. Data signals hovered dot whatever. False. We're setting the false by default. Class icon circle. We're hiding it if hovered is true. And then on mouse over, we're setting hover to true. So to me, that all looks fine. Hidden, circle dot, format false, hovered, format post packages pick. I mean, like I could, let's take this out because that also did change. Putting the click handler on. All right. Yeah, the hovering is just not working, period. And I keep seeing that delay. Okay. Sometimes it works. Why only for some of these? I'm so confused. Okay. This is different. Yes. All right. I just find it weird that it's not working. Hovered 6 equals true on mouse over. And the mouse is there. We can see it. Data class hidden. Hovered 6. Can I see the actual signals somewhere? How do I get this thing to debug stuff? Like, there's got to be a way to get a feed of events. Just trying to think of the right way to proceed from here, because this was not happening before. I don't know what I did to it to upset it to the extent that it started doing this. Maybe I should restart the server. I don't know. Let's just try it and see if that helps somehow. Maybe something got out of sync in a weird way. Yeah, it's still doing the same damn thing, where only certain elements actually render correctly. I'm almost tempted to try to run another instance of Chromium. I've got one over here. Just to see. Yeah, it's doing a similar weird thing. What is this font? It looks way better. Oh, the IDs are all jacked up. Hold on a second. Is that why? It can't be why, can it? Because they all have the same. Oh, you know what? I bet DataStar is getting all screwed up. No, not that. This. on the fact that the IDs are not unique. Come on, wake up. It didn't change. Let me, oh, that explains it. Let's get back to the REPL and reconnect. Okay, and then I'll reeval this procedure, reload the page. I'm pretty sure now. Okay, was pretty sure. Let's Control-C, Control-B on that and reload the page. That's way better. Okay, I was right. So apparently, DataStar does not cope well if you have a whole bunch of elements that have the same div ID. Like it can't do its job correctly. So in here, we should be fine now. Once the page finally loads. But I wonder if it's like all the bookkeeping that has to take place. You put IDs on the elements and then it has to do extra work to track them, and it takes forever for the page to fully get all of its stuff wired up, which seems kind of bad to me in a way. But now that I've got the ability to hover, I should be able to click too, but I think I turned that off. So let's put that back in. Let's put that back in also, since I now know that's not the problem. And then I'll reload the page. Yeah, it should not take that long for the page to be functional. It's like 4 or 5 seconds. How long? Because it still hasn't finished yet. I clicked that, and what happened? It went to packages 6 pick, or at least it tried to. Pick action handler. Over in routes, there's pick action handler. Actually, let's log this. Yeah, something is super slow. I want to try that out. Let's see if I well, we'll see. Click. Pick for 6. Then inside, let's do it there. Possible unbound log info. We need web frame logger. Reeval the whole module. I want to change one thing here. Let's get rid of this picker ID. I want to see if that makes the page load faster. I suspect that it will. And I would be wrong. Something else is going on. I wonder if it's that CSS that I'm pulling in for the unpackage stuff. All right, I clicked on that. It says pick for 6. I never reevaluated the other code that I changed though. In routes. Yeah, so now it doesn't say pick for 6 anymore. Why is it not doing that? Is it saying that I'm not logged in? What the hell? Now it doesn't even render the page anymore? That's real fun. That is so bizarre. Oh, you know what's happening? I think I am getting throttled. And the reason why is because when I open the developer tools, I'm telling it to never use the cache. And then it keeps going to this unpackaged CDN every time I load the page, and I think the unpackaged is getting upset at me for continually re-requesting the same thing. Still doing it though. Who the hell knows? Maybe it can't even check the cache because it has to hit the site and the site's throttling me. Whatever. All right, so if I hover and then click, still says packages 6 pick. Authenticated. Maybe I don't have a logged in session. I don't even remember what the username and password is. You must log in. Okay, fine. Send me the login. How do I create a user? Routes. I'm in the wrong project now. Hold on. Log in, log out, register. Okay. Test user at foo.com. Test password. Test. It's gonna make me do the whole thing. That's a mess. Okay, I'm logged in as test user. Hit the package listing. It's doing that unpackage.com thing again. I tried using the profiler and it I didn't get a lot of good information from it. All right, I'm gonna click adjust parens. Now that goes through this time. Okay, great. Oh, okay. So here we go. At least we can see now. It does send us back a whole bunch of signals. It is a nested object, so it's a nested A list that I'm gonna have to look at, which is not the worst. So first of all, and those are strings, right? It's kind of hard to tell. Maybe the JSON library is smart enough to know that they're numbers. Come on. All right, so picked. Signals picked. Then number to string ID. I don't know if that's going to be the right way to do it. All right, so pick by ID. I'm just going to pick it by the ID. All right, so not signals now. We're going to say pick by ID. going to be false anyway in either case. Wrong type argument in position 1. 6. What? All right, we verified now that it's a string. Yeah, the ID is a string because it came from the URL. And what was I doing before? Yeah, okay. Let's go the opposite direction. All right. At least we can see it now. Cool. Now, what we can do, since we know what ID it is, we can just flip the value and return that back. So it's going to be the same logic. So we need to have the same kind of function. We'll finish this up in just a moment. Let's see, define definite. I'm just trying to like establish a naming pattern here. So we got package picker and package unpicker. I mean, one thought could be it's a single procedure that takes an ID and a current state, and then it just shows the opposite value. We kind of make it a larger function, but honestly, like, why would it matter at this point? So, pick. All right, so if picked, it's going to return this branch. This needs to be backquoted. Otherwise, it's going to return this branch. And I think we determined that this is okay. And then also, package picker. All right, cool. Don't need to do this anymore because we will instead say by default it's not picked. Oh, let's actually do that. Okay. And package ID, package F, that's my fault right there. Also down here, we're going to return package picker ID, and then not picked. My guess is the string value, but we'll find out soon. Okay. So now, I should just be able to click the button, but let's reload the page anyway, just in case. All right, so I'm going to click Adaptive Wrap. Okay, so it didn't seem to return the fragments the way I expected it to, so not picked by string. That should have made it true, right? Package 7 is T. It should have returned that back. Adaptive wrap. Inspect. The div that wraps those. If I can scroll with a little bit more control. Is picker.7. I guess 715. What the hell did I do? Right, when it rendered the page. Okay. Picker A, ID, format F. Ah, I screwed up the format right there. Okay, that's probably why it's not working. So let me go ahead and reload the page. Now if I click, well, whenever it loads finally. Probably shouldn't have this open anymore. Click adaptive wrap. Whoops. Picker 7. I'm sending back a response. Let me get the network thing out. Text stream. Can you give me the actual literal data? That's a huge body. No messages. I don't want messages. I want the raw response. Is there not a button for that somewhere? Raw. Good God. Yeah. Session token on my local site. That's fine. Can I see the raw response, please? I know I must have sent back something. Merge fragments. Firefox, dev tools, server sent events. Yeah, network monitor. I don't see it. I see. Copy response. Okay. Good. Picker.6. Why didn't it try to... Okay, let me think about this for a second. So, the server-send event part of the DataStar docs. Merge fragments. By default, DataStar merges fragments using idiomorph. In my DataStar library, what am I doing by default? Selector merge mode. If merge mode, put in a merge mode, but I don't do that by default, which means it should be using, oh, top level elements? Okay. I don't think that's right, though. Top level elements based on their ID. Selects the target of the merge process using a CSS selector. I don't want to do that. And I shouldn't have to. I was pretty sure it should be able to find the each one fragments purchased the DOM. It would be able to find the div by the ID. Excuse me. So back to the point. We're returning a fragment div ID picker.6. In theory, that should be enough to to have DataStar understand that I'm trying to replace that div that has ID picker6, because in the UI, which one is it? Adaptive wrap? No. If you inspect the ID of the containing div here is picker.6. It should be able to replace this whole picker.6 div with what I told it, just by clicking on it. So clicking here, it should be able to replace that div. And back in the network output, let me do that again. Number 6, I was writing out, copy value, copy response. Same thing, picker 6, ID 44, which means that we've sent a couple of events back since then. Selects the target element of merge process. Merges the fragment using idiomorph as default merge strategy. So can you do both? I mean, let's try it. I don't know. Where am I using merge fragments? So register form, as far as I know, is yeah, this should be unique on this page though. Register form is being replaced correctly. So in the user registration page, I don't think that's a top level div element. Emit register form. It's in a div, which is probably under another div in the body of the whole document. So emit register form has an ID register form and is being replaced correctly as far as I can tell. The only thing I don't know is if it possibly has something to do with the way that I'm formatting the ID string, which seems kind of unlikely, but let's do that. Let's make it picker hyphen the number instead and not dot. So I'm going to refresh the page. Now we're going to take a look at, well, once it finally loads up again. I swear I'm being throttled. Or something. Something weird's going on. All right, so inspect. Now the ID is picker4 with a hyphen, okay? So if I click it, oh, it did something this time. Okay, that's progress. The interesting thing is that it's not visible. And is it because the stupid loose side icon library needs to have everything on the page at the same time to generate its SVG? Okay, this thing's kind of a pain in the ass. I think I might end up using something else. But that did seem to fix it. So using a dot in the ID name was a problem. Using a hyphen made it so that I can actually replace the element, the one that I expected to. So nothing special was needed there. But because I'm using an an icon in that place, it's not automatically updating. So let me see if the loose-side docs say anything. Do I need to like call a function? Because I can do that. It just kind of sucks to do that. Comparison. Feather icons. Yeah, do they have the same weird problem? Global styling. What about create icons? So there is a function I'm calling called looseside.createIcons. We'll search for HTML elements with the attribute data looseside and replace it with the SVG from the given icon name. So basically what you're telling me is that every time I insert a new element on the page that could have icons, I need to call that function. Well, let's see. I don't really like that, but I think I'm being forced what was it? Execute script. Lucide dot create icons. This really feels nasty. I'm not thrilled. Well, let's see now. All I got to do is go back to the page. Watch this. I'll click one of these, and I think all of them will show up after that. Oh, did I have an error? No. Ah, there it is. So it showed up finally. Okay, so calling that function, apparently with so many elements on the page, is causing issues. Click. Wow. All right, so the clicking works. What about unchecking? If I click one of these, did I set that up? Probably not. Oh, I did. Nice. That was pretty sweet. So you can check and uncheck, but calling that Lucide create icons function apparently is very slow. So we need something different, okay? We can't use Lucide. It needs to be, so minimal CSS icons. It needs to be something that doesn't require JavaScript. Check, check, circle, circle. Well, how about that? I don't want to get into this right now, though. The fact that it has classes and not some computed thing is much better. So maybe this is a better... yeah, it doesn't have a dot in the same way. Circle. I mean, I guess we could do that when hovering. I don't know. Static says Lucide does not require any JS. Well, I have not seen yet that that's true. What I see is that whenever you want to put it in, you have to call create icons. Here's a complete example with unpackage. You pull in from the CDN, and then you have to call create icons at the end. You have to copy the SVG from Lucide, so they just have SVG somewhere. Installation. Web. What? Go Lucide icons? Well, I'm not using Go. Well, okay. So, that's sort of beside the point. The point is, we actually got it working. In header, they have icon link. Let me just, I'll take one last look. You're saying just download them? I mean, sure, I suppose you can do that. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm with you on that. In fact, that's probably a much more reasonable way to pull in SVG file or icons into a project than pulling in a JavaScript library from a CDN. Excuse me. Okay. Cool. Actually, I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay, Sadiq. Thank you for the suggestion. I think that actually is a pretty reasonable thing to do. So you would only need to pull the icons that you are going to use. I like it. All right. So back to the point. We did get it working. All right. So if you go back to the page, you can see that if we click on one of the packages, once it finally wakes up, then it turns into a checkbox or a checked circle, okay? So it works. Now it's not going to the database yet, but at least we can see that the idea of the UI is working, and it's working with DataStar in the DataStar way, which is good. So next time, we'll probably continue on this path and get it hooked up to the database. But then the question is, when will next time be? Because next week is the beginning of like a holiday time in Greece because of Easter. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to stream next week at all. I mean, I conceivably could do it on Monday, but definitely not on Wednesday. And then definitely not the following Monday. So we might come back on Monday and continue working on this, but if not, then we may not be back until like 2 weeks from now. So I'll keep people in the loop on that. I'll put a post up somewhere or something to let you know what the situation is. But at least we did get to make some progress on this particular project today. I'll commit the changes. I'll try to get the devlog updated for all the previous streams, because there's like the 2 or 3 streams that I didn't do the devlog for, or at least I didn't commit it for, because there's like, I got to get all the commits from like 3 repos now. It's kind of getting a little bit nutty. But anyway, it's good to make some progress, but we'll be back in a little while. It's not going to be next week, maybe as usual. So we'll see how it goes, but let me know in the comments if you liked watching these streams so far. And as always, thank you all for your help and your time and your attention. And until I see you next time, happy hacking. We'll see ya.